Hello, Algebra 1B students for Mr. Fry. This is January 5th. This assignment is due on the 6th. And let's get started. We are writing the standard form, and I have the standard form written up here where you have these A, B, C constants, and you have whatever constant is with X over here, and you have whatever constant is with Y. You have it here. So write the standard form of the equation of a line through the given point with a given slope. So they give you the slope and they give you the point that it goes through. So when you are looking at point slope formula, this is point slope formula right here. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. All we're going to do is, this is my x1, this is my y1, and this is my slope, this is m. And I just plug these numbers in. I put my y1 here. A minus a negative changes it to positive. My slope is 0. Minus a negative changes it to a positive. I just go through 0. If you take 0 and you pass it through all of this, you know, it's 0 times x is 0, 0 times 3 is 0, so you just have 0 over here. And then if I want to get my y, you know, I want to get y by itself. There's no more x, so I just got to get y over here, and then this constant by itself without any x or y with it. I got to get it over on this side, so I subtracted 4 from both sides, so I have y equals -4. Notice that makes sense because y equals -4 is going to be a no slope, and here we have a slope of 0. So if I was to graph this, -4 on the y-axis is down here, and it would be a no slope, a horizontal line. This is my x-axis, this is my y-axis, okay? So it looks something like that. If I was to graph it, so it makes sense. Okay, number 3. I do the same thing. I have my point slope form. I plug in the numbers that they've given me, and then I work the problem out. I continue working the problem out over on this side, combining like terms, and then getting my x over here on one side. I have my x and my y, so here's my back up to here, ax plus by equals c. Here's my ax plus by equals c. All right, they change it up a little bit. It says write the standard form of equation of each line. This is in slope-intercept form. And what I did was I just took the whole thing. I want to get rid of this fraction here. So if I take this whole thing and multiply each term, this term, this term, this term by 3, 3 times y is 3y, 3 times 4 over 3 is just 4, so I'm left with 4x, and 3 times 2 is 6. So what happens is, it makes it a little bit easier to see. I get this x over on this side by subtracting 4x from both sides, and I'm left with the 6 over here, and so I have it in my standard form. I did the same thing for number 7, and you'll do these for the even ones. Number 6 and number 8, multiply everything by 4 over here, multiply everything by 4 over here, and then, you know, just work it out. So I multiplied everything by 2 here, so I got 2y. This makes this just 5, and 3 times 2 is 6. To get the x over here, I subtracted 5x from both sides. I'm left with the 6 on this side. And then the most complicated ones are at the bottom, as usual. Write the standard form of the equation of a line through the given points. Well, first of all, I have to label these x1, y1, x2, y2, because I have to figure out the slope. Remember your slope formula? Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I just took the 2 minus the 3 and the -2 minus the 1. And I end up with 1 over 3. A negative over a negative just becomes a positive. So I have 1/3 as my slope. And then I have my point slope form, and I grab the first point, you know, my x1, y1, what I was doing in numbers 1 and 3, and I just plug in those numbers. Here's my slope that I just figured out up here. Okay, I'm just drawing a line to show you, I'm a different part of the problem. And then I'm going to multiply all of this by 3. So I start to do that over here. I multiplied everything by 3 to get rid of this fraction. I multiplied this by 3. I don't, if I multiply this by 3, that's going to affect everything in the parentheses. So I just leave the parentheses alone because it's 3 times everything in the parentheses. All right? No longer 1/3, it's times 3 because I multiplied each term by 3. This is all one term here, in other words. So multiplying all of this by 3 just makes it 3 times x minus 1. Then I go ahead and I use the distributive property. 3 times x is 3x, 3 times -1 is -3. My next step is I combine like terms. I combine I added 9 to both sides. And I want to get this 3x over on this side. And so I have it like that. Now, you could have it, backwards, I guess. I guess you could have it backwards. You could write this 3x over on the side. Let me show you. I could, move this over here and this over here. So if I did that, it would be -6 equals 3x minus 3y. Like that. That would be the same thing. And it's just reversing the order of things. Okay, and then number 11, once again, I have to figure out the slope. I do that. This is my x1, y1, x2, y2. And I take those and I get -3/5 as my slope. I plug in my -3/5 as a slope here. I take my y1 and I take my x1 and I deal with that in my point slope form. I multiply everything by 5 because I want to get rid of this fraction. Each term, this term, this term, and this term by 5. And this is what I get. I use the distributive property here. Then I combine like terms. Notice if I subtract 15 from both sides, I end up with, nothing, just my x and my y. I add 3 to both sides to get it over here. And I get 3x plus 5y equals 0. Go ahead and work through the even ones. And remember, make mistakes, learn from them, you're making progress.